going to show you how to build a fairy garden. So here's what you're going to need for the project. You're going to need a container of some sort, a flower pot, or whatever you'd like to use, but the main thing is it needs to have a drainage hole so the plants will do well, and also it needs to have a good amount of surface area. That's why I found that low bowls work the best for me anyway. So that's what I've chosen to use today. You're also going to need some potting soil, and you'll need some fairy accessories. I've chosen this little house here and a little bistro set. There's all kinds of really cute little things available, so there's no shortage of fairy accessories. Come see me at Westwoods if you need some of these items. You're also going to need some plants. Another thing you could see me at Westwoods for. I've chosen some little dwarf evergreens and all perennial plants, so they're winter hardy, because when you're thinking about your fairy garden design, you're going to want to figure out where you're going to put your fairy garden once you have it planted up. I've decided that I want mine to be outside year-round, so I've chosen winter hardy plants. But if you wanted to have it in the house, you could just as easily choose house plants and use those instead. You're also going to need some rocks. I've chosen some flat stones to use to make a path with, as well as some little pea gravel pebbles here to use. And the last thing you'll need is a bag of moss. This is reindeer moss. It's dried, preserved moss, so I'm going to use that for my grass in my fairy garden. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to add potting soil to your container. Once you have that done, the next thing I like to do is I like to put my large items in, basically. Since I'm using this house today, I'm going to put it in first, and it's going to help me figure out better, especially where I can put my other smaller things. So, here's my house at the back of my pot, this. The next thing I want to add is going to be my little evergreens, and they're going to serve as little trees, miniature trees, to go on either side of this house. Okay, I'm going to put in my little evergreens on either side of the house. And again, I've chosen these plants because I want to be able to leave this outside year-round. So now, as it turns out, I'm going to need to add a little bit more potting soil, because the next thing I want to add in is going to be actually a path. I'm going to make a little walkway out from the front door using these flat stones that I have. But I want to make sure my soil level is up high enough where you can see the path. Now I'm going to start adding some fairy accessories. I'm going to use these columns here, these pillars, for either side of the front walkway. And a lot of these fairy garden accessories come with these little picks on them, so they stick down in the soil really nicely. Okay, so now that we've got our path in place and we've got our little evergreens here and our pillars, I'm going to make a little sitting area for the tiny bistro set to be on, for the fairies to sit on. And so I'm going to gravel a little area right here off to the side. Now the fairies have a little area to sit in. I'm going to add in some grass, but in this case I'm going to use moss. We sell these bags of reindeer moss at Westwoods, and it is preserved, and it works really well to be your grassy areas. Okay, so now that we have our fairy grass here on the lawn, which is this moss in place, I'm going to add some more fairy accessories, and starting with these urns here. These precious tiny urns, and the challenge is planting them, so I'm going to do that before I put them into the fairy garden. And I'm just going to plant them like I would a full-size urn or any other container. Some dirt in there, and then I've taken little cuttings of the succulents. The succulents do well in the full sun, and something I may not have mentioned earlier, I've chosen all plants that have similar light and water requirements. So these are all full sun plants, and they're all winter hardy, and that's something you definitely need to keep in mind when you are choosing your plants for your fairy garden. There it is. So to finish up, we will just water this all in really carefully, because you don't want to disturb your gravel or your moss too much, but you definitely want to water the plants in really well. And as far as care for your fairy garden, you'll want to keep watering it when it's dry, and you will want to also watch your little plants. Sometimes the trees will get a little bit too big, and you can always just trim them back. And again, I'm Lee with Westwood Gardens, and good luck in your garden.